made it so that I can defeat stage 5 kidney disease, something that they say cannot be defeated, that cannot be cured. I cured it through the help of God and through, just doing certain remedies. Han Meditation. Hey guys, I am Han. This is my wife, Kelly. We are Han Meditation. So one of our friends and one of our subscribers, he asked us to react to this video, Halu Reed, song by Swami Tadatmananda. So let's get into the video. Let's see what this is about. I don't even know what he's going to talk about exactly, but I am very interested in it. Let's check it out. And we might skip around to the video a little bit just to see, but let's go ahead and check it out.
Many people have undergone terrible traumas in their lives, and long after those traumatic events have passed, not only do painful memories linger, but also deep emotional wounds remain. These invisible inner injuries produce feelings of hurt, resentment, blame, and guilt. Some wounds and painful memories fade away with the passage of time, but many others do not. Those require a process of emotional healing, a process that replaces hurt and resentment with understanding and acceptance. It's not unusual for spiritual seekers to suffer from unhealed emotional wounds. Many of them assume that their emotional problems can eventually be overcome through prayer, yoga, meditation, and other practices. But that assumption doesn't always prove to be true, at least not in my own life and in the lives of hundreds of fellow seekers I've known over the years. Spiritual practice itself fails to heal many deep emotional wounds for a basic reason. The right solution is needed for a particular problem. For example, pain medication doesn't remove the sadness of a broken heart, nor can a therapist help you when you have chest pain. For these reasons, spiritual problems like desire, disillusionment, and emptiness require spiritual solutions, whereas emotional problems like hurt, anger, resentment, and guilt generally require emotional solutions. Yet, some spiritual teachers completely dismissed the need to address emotional problems. They insist that their powerful spiritual practices are all that you need. For a while, my own guru embraced this idea. Swami Tadatmananda was a highly traditional teacher of Advaita Vedanta. He taught extensively throughout India, not just giving lectures, but also conducting long-term residential courses for especially dedicated students. Based on his experience, Swami Tadatmananda was convinced that Vedanta's teachings and practices are completely sufficient for any sincere seeker of enlightenment. Nothing further is needed. But then, in 1978, Swami Tadatmananda came here to the U.S. to teach a residential course on Vedanta, meditation, and Sanskrit to a group of students who were mostly of Western origin. During the course, he discovered a problem. Vedantic teachings that had proved themselves to be adequate in India seemed to be much less effective here. More than a few of Swami Tadatmananda's students were unable to fully benefit from his teachings. because so much of their attention was taken up by their efforts to cope with unresolved emotional issues. Swami Dayananda discovered that his Western students were often more emotionally wounded than his Indian students. He attributed this in part to the greater number of unstable and dysfunctional families in the U.S. as compared to India. Of course, in urban educated India today, this distinction has largely disappeared. But in the 1970s, Swami Dayananda was forced to admit that for some students, Vedanta itself is not enough. He realized that spiritual growth can be obstructed by deep emotional wounds, and therefore a psychological process of emotional healing is required. Some spiritual teachers acknowledge the fact that spiritual growth can be obstructed by emotional problems, and yet they still reject the need for psychological or therapeutic remedies. They sometimes give the example of the great 16th century female saint, Mirabai. According to legend, her parents forced her to marry against her will, and then, after both her husband and father died, she was subjected to merciless cruelty at the hands of her in-laws with whom she lived. Mirabai suffered terrible emotional abuse, and yet her wonderful poetry in praise of Sri Krishna clearly shows that she had indeed become enlightened in spite of all that abuse and the emotional wounds it caused.
I'm going to pause it right there because it's actually interesting that we're watching this video, because we're actually in the process right now of creating a course to help people as well get over their emotional abuse and just get over and basically take it to the next level with who you truly are, allowing God within you to blossom and to be the best version of yourself, to be one with God. And
to allow the level of miracles to come in, to be on that level with God.
And basically do what I did to create the miracle within me, which made it so that I can defeat stage 5 kidney disease, something that they say cannot be defeated, that cannot be cured. I cured it through the help of God and through, just doing certain remedies. And I do believe that you can and you can't heal emotional trauma in certain ways, because it really just depends on the person. Now, as he's saying, some people can go through, like Mirabai, they can go through extreme trauma and they can really fight through it and it can help them. And some people can't. Some people are weaker in that sense, where they can't, if they go through any kind of little trauma or any situation, they become weaker as a person and they don't grow. So every case and person is different, where I believe, but I'm currently working on something very special right now. Of course, that can help people, and I know that it will help people and it's not just one thing. It's not just meditating or praying or whatever. It's a series of different things that you're going to have to do, and you're going to have to do it in a very specific way. So we're actually happy to do that. So I'm very excited for this.
I try to be loving, warm and kind to all, but sometimes my heart shrinks, cold and brittle and small. A little voice cries deep inside, her tender spirit bruised, feeling she has been rejected, lost and confused. Lord, make me like a hollow reed, a flute for you to play through this through this hollow flute of reed. You'll breathe your blessed song. I want to be peaceful, free from all desires, but some of my cravings still rage on like fires. A hunger burns within my soul, nothing satisfies. As these yearnings are fulfilled, still more do arise. Lord, make me like a hollow reed, a flute for you to play through this hollow flute of reed. You'll breathe your song. Lord, make me like a hollow reed, a flute for you to play through this hollow flute of reed. You'll breathe your blessed song. I try to be cheerful, thankful for this life, but some of my memories pierce me like a knife. The wrongs I suffered long ago smolder on inside. From the searing pain of my past I can't hide. Lord, make me like a hollow reed, a flute for you to play through this hollow flute of reed. You'll breathe your song. Lord, make me like a hollow reed, a flute for you to play through this hollow flute of reed. You'll breathe your blessed song.
Wow. I didn't know that he could sing. Did you know that, Kelly? I didn't know that he made music and he could sing.
No, I didn't know. For some reason, now that you say that, I kind of maybe remember some kind of video we watched with him with some music, but I could be totally wrong.
That's cool, man. I like that. I like kind of like art projects like that too. And whatever makes people feel good and positive, I'm all for it. So that's awesome.
I do like the sentiment of the song because, you know, we didn't hear the full explanation of his thoughts of how to deal with those deep, you know, core emotional problems and trauma. But I know Han agrees, and I would say that being honest with yourself about it is definitely number one, because, you know, that little, essentially that ego voice inside will just naturally want to just deny it all and oh, you know, I'm not, you know, being the most cheerful today or whatever, you know, like how he's saying in here, and then, oh no, I am, I'm not in a bad mood, I'm fine, blah, blah, blah. But you're never going to cure all of that stuff if you're not honest with yourself about it. So that is number one. So I like that sentiment of this song where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm this and that today. I try. Sometimes I don't do everything I'm trying to do. That's the reality of it. I can be honest with myself about it. But now, since I am honest with myself about it, I can be like the hollow reed, or, you know, whatever you need to tell yourself to work on it from there. But number one is just admitting it to yourself, because otherwise you're just going to keep blocking and blocking and blocking it if you keep acting like it's not true.
Absolutely.
You know, because
self-honesty is very important. You have to be able to get to a point where you are completely comfortable being honest with yourself, knowing who you are. And if people are telling you things about yourself independently, then that's probably who you are. So you have to understand, this is who I am. And I'm saying that because if you have a problem being self-honest, you need to ask other people. Mm-hmm. And if you're around other people, but I'm saying, even if you don't trust the people independently are telling you the same thing over and over again over the course of years, that is who you are. Right. Now, you can always change, whether it's good or bad, but you can put yourself in a position in where you are completely self-honest. You know your flaws. You know what you need to work on. Doesn't matter if you have desires that are worldly desires, whether you have, anger problems, whatever your issue is, you can actually work on it and defeat it.
You can.
And the only thing that I can recommend to people is to bring God into your life as closely as possible. And this is beautiful.
For sure.
So we definitely, are glad that we watched that. So thank you for recommending that to us, Sky Guardian. And thank you guys for all your donations, everyone that's donating. Thank you. We love you guys. We're going to continue doing all the videos that you recommend, and we'll see you in the next video.